Text the show at 573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Monday's edition of the Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here.
But also take Andy's mic down
This
just a
feels
little
very
bit.
weird. We're going to talk about the Chiefs team that now doesn't even have a chance to be in the playoffs. This is a very odd position to be in. I don't think us on this show have done a show where the Chiefs, I mean, they've been eliminated from the postseason, but they have never been playing regular season games and had no shot at anything. It's very odd.
It's very odd, and it's almost like that was going to be odd enough that they lost the game under regular circumstances. The fact that they lose the game and Mahomes tears his ACL, it feels like I don't have the brain power or emotional capacity to process both at once. They're all just being thrown into one bucket. And it's almost one of those like, well, yeah, of course. If the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs, it's going to be due to just some catastrophic, like you just throw it all out the window.
Are they still muted on there?
It almost seems like it couldn't have gone any other way.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
They're just going to have their mics muted.
An injury like this.
Because all this is what's coming through here.
It really is.
Don't know how to feel about it, but we'll make sense of it here in a few minutes. We'll also talk about the Mizzou, another entry into the portal, and this is a player that played that we have to talk about entering the portal reportedly. It won't happen today; they'll enter once it opens, but the report. With off-season moves that are pretty intriguing. We'll talk about that at 5:45, and we'll preview the college football playoff first-round games coming up this weekend with Bill Connelly of ESPN at 425. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. You can tweet us at KTGR Big Show and find us on Facebook at facebook.com/KTGR Big Show. It's 10 consecutive years, but now
ACL in 9 months flat, or maybe even a little under that. We'll see. He hasn't even had the surgery yet, so there's no way to, go about predicting all that. But, there's a lot of other stuff going on here. There's a ton of other stuff going on here that the Chiefs are going to have to address and fix. At the end of the day, this is not a team that was going to be productive even with Mahomes. So they were going to miss the playoffs pretty much either way, right? And so that's where you come down to going, okay, what are the things that we've got to fix here beneath the surface?
It is fascinating now what happens because, look, again, the Chiefs are going to go through 3 games that mean nothing. Patrick Mahomes is not going to play. I would have advocated, though, like even if he had not torn his ACL, right as he comes out with an injury that forces him to miss the end of that drive that essentially lost, it didn't lose them the game, but they could not come back and win the game with that drive, and you are not coming back in any sort of race. I would have said, I don't even care. Like, don't play the next 3 games. Even if you didn't have a torn ACL. If it was a scraped knee, like, no, don't even come out there. Maybe if the NFL decides, oh, we need our cash cow for the Christmas Day game, like, sure. But, like, I would have not even wanted Mahomes to even sniff the field. You would have had to convince him, which is tough, but I would not have wanted him to even go out there at all once the Chiefs have absolutely no shot at anything. So,
well, and now we'll never know because he's not playing for, unfortunately, other reasons.
So, I mean, this is that's in and of itself its own thing. Now, how does the rest of the team look? Like, what else do you have to do to this? Because Mahomes wasn't great, but he's on your team. Like, he's your guy for probably the next 5 years at least. However long the contract lasts.
That's how you want it. Like, I don't think he's playing well, but I'm also not ready to go, Mahomes stinks now. Like, let's move on. I don't think anybody's thinking that.
And so, assuming that he is, I guess we'll ask Bill Carroll tomorrow about what he thinks, but it seemed that there was good-ish news about it after the MRI done that, the ACL's torn, but there are no other ligaments torn. And so maybe once you repair that, you get the surgery
clean
done.
ACL.
Yeah, clean break. Maybe you're good to go in a faster timeline than normal. You think he plays week 1 next year?
Yes,
Yeah?
I do.
You think so?
That is based on nothing other than, well, I guess 2 things. One, when we talk with Will Carroll, and anytime we ask him about an ACL, it's like, it's an ACL. What do you want me to say? Because they have the ability to, expedite these surgeries and the processes that allow you to return from them quicker. Now, I will be curious if he talks about it. A lot of times I know with baseball, it's more the elbow stuff where he says they can go a number of different ways with how they do the repair in order to, maybe produce different outcomes. But if he has any insight as to, like, here's the type of surgery, or if it's just like, nope, this is like a standard ACL and this is what to expect. And then we know, like, Patrick Mahomes is a freak. Yeah. Like, he's a complete freak show. The way that he and all of the training that he did to try to avoid something like this, you can only, it's at some point, contact sport, weird stuff happens. Sometimes it's just unavoidable. But also, I do believe that for him to go so long, and anytime he's got a high ankle sprain, it's like, whatever, he's still going to play. Like, his body is different. He's literally built different. And so, do I believe that that's going to extend into a recovery timeline, and the fact that he's got the best, access to the best facilities, the best staff, the best whatever he may need to get back on time? If it's possible for a human to get back in 8.5 months, it's probably what he's going to do. So if I had to guess, I would say he plays week 1 next year. But that's just my gut feeling, right? There's no, like I said, we haven't even gotten the surgery is done and it was a success.
Yeah.
Like, okay, good. What other kind of surgery was it going to be? Hopefully just a successful one, but we haven't even gotten to that yet. So I'm premature with this. But you asked the question and I was eager to answer it. Yeah, I think he'll play week 1.
And I think so too. Do you at least, though, like, make sure that your backup is a good, serviceable one? Like, are you looking at Gardner Minshew these next 3 weeks and you're saying, hey, can you still get it done in a pinch? And, like, if so, like, okay, let's run it back. But, like, it is important to know what Gardner Minshew looks like in these situations. So
is he on a 2-year deal or a 1-year deal? What was his? Because I want to say it was maybe even a longer.
Let me check and make sure. But I thought it was only 1. Let me double check that.
I'm looking. I'm seeing 1.
Okay.
Well, now I'm seeing. Yeah, it was 2. It was 2 with the Raiders. That didn't go so well.
No,
that was why I had 2 in my head. So then he just came back for like a check. Minimum probably salary $1 million or whatever to be Mahomes backup. And for the Chiefs, we were like, hey, that's good because we've talked a lot over the recent years, not with regard to Kansas City, but in the NFL in general, like backup's important because the quarterback does oftentimes get injured. We've seen it a ton in the NFL in recent years. And so it was kind of like, hey, Gardner Minshew, theoretically, if he had to step in, would do a pretty decent job for a few games because he's been a starter before. Like, he's got experience. Good get for the Chiefs. But now that you go into next season knowing your quarterback is injured, it's a little bit different than the theoretical, oh, he could plug and play for a couple games. Now it's kind of an audition. These last 3 games, as much as there's going to be a lot of guys dropping like flies around him, and it's going to be difficult to, I think the spread against the Titans is only like 3.5. This could be ugly, right? Because I think, as we kind of talked about when the Cardinals season went off the rails, anybody with a hangnail is going to be, on the injured list. In this case, it's, they're on IR. They're not playing. They're not coming back.
Or on the injury report, whatever it is, questionable heading into the game. Now, I'll say this. You have fewer roster spots to work with. Like, you can only make so many guys inactive. You don't have a minor league system to just dip into and have everybody filter in.
You sign guys off the practice squad.
Sure. I mean, obviously the Chiefs offensive line is almost all practice squad guys at this point.
Yeah.
Both tackle positions. They lost Jalen Moore, another one in this game.
Which time?
It was
it's like he was on the ground every other.
Yeah,
so he couldn't go anymore.
Start of the game, and then he came back, and then couldn't go back. And then you throw out another undrafted rookie who's making his NFL debut, protecting Patrick Mahomes on the right tackle spot. Who's on the opposite side, another undrafted free agent who's making his first ever start because he came in for the other. So it's like, I get it. This year was. They ran into bad luck, but they also kind of created it themselves with not masking the issues that they clearly had on defense that reared its head this year. But then the offense somehow entering a rut after 3 to 4 weeks of looking awesome.
They played bad teams.
Once Rice
they
came
whooped the
back.
Raiders. They whooped the Commanders. That's what happened. Is we got lulled into a false sense of security by couple of the worst pass defenses in the NFL back to back, and they smoked them both. Turns out everybody's smoking those teams. But you're right. Like, they played well offensively against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. The defense by that point is a concern. And the Cowboys have a good offense. Like, that's part of it. But if you want to be in the best of the best and make the playoffs every year and AFC runs through Arrowhead, like, you got to be able to beat those good teams. And all those years, the Chiefs were able to do that. And this year, it just kind of came there were too many holes to be able to fill them with just Patrick Mahomes. And I think, too, they had some bad luck, like rotten luck on the offensive line front, because they did, to their credit, notice in the Super Bowl that wasn't going well and that they had to make adjustments. And they did. I mean, they drafted a lineman. They signed a guy. They went through and made a lot of moves on that front, and it just didn't work out. They're all injured. Like that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot more they could have done, I don't think, to the O-line to try to address what was a problem in one off season. Like, they made several moves to that unit, and they just have not been able to keep up right. And that goes in the bleep happens category of sports, I think. Sometimes that just is what happens. And let's say they had, like, instead of what would you say, like a F grade on just not something that you can grade, but the health of their O-line in terms of, like, how you would grade it, it's just been an F. Like, they've had the worst case scenario pretty much on offensive line injuries. If you would have given them like a B- on O-line injuries, like a couple nagging things here and there, not a personal issue for Josh Simmons that keeps him out. Like, if it would have just been a regular standard amount of stuff to have to get through,
right,
they still might be in the mix. And they just didn't have that kind of season. They had the O-line get decimated.
It was incredible how it just crippled down the stretch and crumbled. And now, like, the cherry on top was just Mahomes, like, ACL, he's done. And it's just, it was like I was watching just a car crash, and then all of a sudden.
It's so crazy because of course that's the way it would end.
Yeah.
Like, our brains couldn't compute that they might not make the playoffs. And so they had to add into, like, it would have felt like the whole sky was falling anyway. And they just dropped this, we call it a cherry on top. It's like, that's a huge freaking deal, but it does. It feels like we're processing both things at once, and that the only explanation for why the Chiefs would miss the playoffs would be if they didn't have Mahomes, and so you might as well add that on. The universe is strange. It's a very strange world. And now I don't know what are the playoffs going to be like. There's going to be all these teams where it's just going to feel, I'm not trying to make too much of it, but the Chiefs have been a constant in this thing.
Even before Mahomes, they made
time.
it like several years before Mahomes got in the room and started for this team. Like they were still winning the division with Alex Smith. And like once Andy Reid got here, like that was the main change. Like, okay, new sheriff in town. This is now only the second time that
it's been at least 10 years.
Yeah, 10-year streak of making the playoffs, first time since 2014, and this will be only the second time that Andy Reid has missed the playoffs with this team. So, like, it is shocking. It's not shocking with us seeing how they have played in several games, but what is just mind-boggling is that, no, you cannot pinpoint one particular thing and say, like, that was it. I mean, maybe the closest thing is that in most of these games, they haven't gotten enough of a pass rush to be effective and to close games out. But even then, like when they got the pass rush, like they played well defensively yesterday. And they didn't.
No, yesterday went, aside from Mahomes' injury, exactly as I thought it would.
Yeah.
I was thinking -5.5. Are you kidding me? Didn't want the money line to hit. I had money on it. I did not want Chargers money line to hit. I wanted to see the Chiefs extend it. And then the Mahomes injury happens and you're like, well, this is empty.
Yeah.
This is not going to go. This is not going to go well. Was there a moment? You said there wasn't just one moment. What's a moment you think about when you think about what went wrong for the Chiefs this season, though? Because it certainly had to have happened before yesterday because they were backs against the wall yesterday. Is there one moment where you go, we should have known it right then?
Oh, you mean like sooner, like rather than the moments
like
that
the
actually
closed
closed
out
out
the season?
Because
we convinced ourselves for weeks and weeks and weeks that it was like, they're still fine, right? Like for a long time, we convinced ourselves that it was still going to be like the Chiefs were going to chief.
I think we have to go back to the Jacksonville game and say
was
like
the game I was going to bring up
one
too.
that
was the
Chiefs
first time
had in the bag. Like they led in the fourth quarter, but could not close it out. Fluky play to essentially like get Jacksonville the game-winning touchdown. Chris Jones just not realizing that the play's still going on, and he's just like, okay.
He's over there. Let him go.
Whatever. And so
I'm going to try to run after. No, I'm going to let him.
There are too many of those moments from players that you don't expect it from. Like you could say Kelsey had several of those. Dropping a ball and it turns into a pick. Like,
that
happened twice this year at least.
Yeah.
And so one of them like turned a game, kept the Chiefs from getting a touchdown. The other one sealed the game against the Texans where they get their third pick. And it's like, okay, that's it. And then you saw essentially Kelsey's soul leave his body as he was out on the bench. So like, that's it right there.
The two Kelsey interceptions, almost identical, and the Chris Jones play. Those are two tent poles of the era. And collectively, and like I'm sure we could go back and see some throws that Mahomes made. Like he's not completely immune from this.
No.
But that's what I think of is like how many times probably you might need a second hand to count them. We just came up with 3 on the spot that you can think back and go, wow, that's not very much. That's not very Chiefs like. That's not like this Chiefs team that we have come to know. And it happened probably 5, 6, 7, 8 times during the year. And what does that add up to? Like a sub 500 record and you're out of the playoffs.
It's incredible. And it wasn't just a single unit costing this team for each of their 8 losses this year.
Harrison Butker, add him to all the guys that you've been able to just
Butker
count
missed
on.
Like 9 kicks this year. What is it? Like,
you could count on them all to be great over the course of this run. And I think all of them have had moments where you go, what is he doing? That's not like him. And it just has happened all at once. I don't know if it's fatigue, if it's this notion of
I mean, that's an interesting question.
There's people throwing that out there. They've played so many games collectively, which I'm not sure how much I buy it because you do have cast and crew that changes. New faces come in, old ones leave.
True.
But for the mainstays, like Kelsey, Mahomes, you put Chris Jones, he's been around for quite a while. Maybe there is something to that. I don't know. Maybe it's the exhaustion of like in other circumstances, Kelsey Mahomes would be enough to rise above it and beat adversity. And now it's like we are the ones that are bogged down and we don't have it in us anymore. Not to say that Mahomes can't come back and be great again, but like it had tilted too much into one direction to where it was going to have to be Mahomes doing superhuman stuff every single week. And like, he just wasn't going to be able to drag an entire 53-man roster kicking and screaming with him into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And like Kelsey included in that was with the way he played at times.
Because that drags on you mentally too. It's not just their body. It's not just that they're getting older, that Kelsey's 35 and Mahomes turned 30, and they're now having to manage that part of their career where when your body starts to break down, how do you adjust? How do you change up what you do, not just in a game, but in each and every week as you prepare to make sure that your body is not susceptible to these types of things and that you can stay out there for your team. So like that also weighs on you, along with the mental side of it of like, oh, I got to be perfect or else our defense isn't going to be able to hold up and can't stop a nosebleed today. So I got to be out there and throw another touchdown, or it might be picked off because that's the type of risk that we're taking. So like that, it's all of that put together. And look, I get it. Like it's frustrating, but folks who are saying that this should be Andy Reid's like last year, like, no, stop. Come on. He should not be fired. He should not be. That's another thing. Like Mahomes is here. Andy Reid is here. Offensive staff maybe needs to change a little bit.
I think you do probably have to make some changes, but I don't think you look at Andy Reid and push him out the door. I think if he were to make a decision, I don't think I would fault him. If Andy Reid were to feel like I've done it, let's give somebody else a turn because I'm not going to be around through the end of Mahomes. Like if I've got X number of years left, let's let somebody else hit the ground running because it's clear there are going to have to be some major changes and sometimes a new voice. I don't think the Chiefs can say that to him, nor should they. But if I were in Andy Reid's shoes, would I think about it? I would think about it. Like we saw the last Mahomes to Kelsey connection yesterday. That's done.
You think so?
There's no way he comes back.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, he came back thinking he had unfinished business last time, and like this would be even more fuel to not end this way.
Thinking about what's happened with him over the months since, like, I do think the personal life stuff spills out into this, where it's like you have been so successful in your field, and your field is a violent one, and it takes a lot of a commitment. And this is going to be a project. This is going to be a process that may not result in an immediate return to the Super Bowl in 2026. So if you were to say, man, I've got a lot going for me, it sucks. The timing of it sucks, but I can't keep chasing this ghost. Like it's not, it just didn't go the way we wanted it to, but like Chiefs fans will be more sad about it than Travis Kelce, because Travis Kelce's got everything going for him. And he can say, I've got other projects I want to pursue. I want to be an actor. I wanted to be a podcaster. I want to travel the world. Like, dude has it made, and I wouldn't fault him one bit if he said, I did want to try to write our own ending, but then Pat tore his ACL, and our offensive line got all hurt, and our defense was not quite good enough to cover up the warts. Like, yeah, I would be surprised if he's back next year, personally. I hope he is, because I love talking about him. I still love watching him play when he's not dropping interceptions into the opponent's hands. But I would, like, prediction time, Reed will be back. Kelce won't. That's my prediction. And Mahomes plays week 1. Yeah. Okay. It's 875 KTGR. Give us your predictions now for what happens next with the Chiefs, as they will now have to fully turn their attention to 2026 after getting eliminated from postseason contention yesterday. We'll talk more about the Chiefs at 5:05. Get your thoughts in on it. We'll get to some of your calls and texts as well. In the meantime, Bill Connelly of ESPN joins us next as we preview this weekend. First round of the college football playoff will be underway. We'll get his thoughts on the matchups next on The Big Show.
This the latest edition of The Big Show. Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now wherever you get your apps.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. It is getting to be holiday time, and that means slick roads a lot of the time. So make sure that your tires are in tip-top shape. If you need new ones, now's a great time to get some at Lee's Tire Company, because right now they're running a special where you can buy 2 tires and get 2 free on Mastercraft and other select brands. That's right. Buy 2 tires and get 2 free. That'll save you a ton of money if you need new tires, or you just want to switch them out for the winter time. You can do that too with Lee's Tire Company. They have an excellent service team at all 3 of their locations that can get your car serviced for these winter months. And of course, they are the tire pros those in mid-Missouri. I've gotten my new tires from Lee's Tire Company. You should do so too, especially now. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free on Mastercraft and other select brands at Lee's Tire Company on the Business Loop in Columbia or University Garage by the MU campus or their location in Centralia. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com.
You're a basher, a smasher, a smusher, a squisher, a stomper, a swatter, a bug hunting mister. But who should you call? The most famous pest guy of all. Oh, yeah, that guy. Steven, the red-trucked pest guy, the one that everybody knows. He gets a ton of phone calls when colonies of termites grow. All of the nasty insects used to laugh and walk right in. They never knew Steve's team was the best at killing all their friends. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Steven, with your truck so bright, help me tell these bugs goodnight. Then all the humans called him, and they shouted out with glee, all of our pests are gone now. It was guaranteed by Steve's.
When it comes to money, what matters most to you? It's not an easy question because your answer can change at a moment's notice. At Commerce Bank, we have 160 years of helping people ask themselves that question and providing financial solutions that are tailored to your ever-changing wants and needs. From setting short-term goals to planning for your future, if it matters to you, it matters to us. And together, we'll find the answers that matter. Commerce Bank. Challenge accepted. Member FDIC.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KTGR. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KTGR in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got the Big Show on KTGR.
College football playoff is about ready to start up this weekend. Here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy and Brendan here as we get set for that. You will be able to hear the entire first round of the college football playoff right here on KTGR from ESPN Radio, with the first game coming up Friday night. Coverage starting at 6:30 before Alabama visits Oklahoma. Here to talk about all things college football, Bill Connelly of ESPN joins us here to talk all things CFP. You can follow him on Twitter at ESPN_Bill C and read his great work over at ESPN.com. Before we get to CFP, though, Bill, let's talk a little Mizzou, who now needs a new offensive coordinator after Kirby Moore leaves to take the head coaching job at Washington State. Some Mizzou fans kind of celebrating that in a sense, which take for that what you will. But, I mean, how do you kind of see now Mizzou's chance here to maybe bring someone else into the room, and how impactful that could be for a Mizzou offense that really did taper off as the year went along?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how much we end up hating our offensive coordinator when the quarterback gets hurt and everything kind of stops, moving quite as well. I think the best thing you can say here is that, this was a successful enough hire that Eli Drinkwitz had to have basically replacement names lined up 2 years ago after the very first year that Moore was here. He probably has that list pretty tuned and kind of knows what he wants now. This was not a surprise in any way. So, as far as what needs fixing, it's hard to kind of move forward in that regard when you don't know who the quarterback's going to be for sure. And one of your starting receivers just entered the transfer portal, and there's going to be a ton of turnover, and you're going to bring a bunch of new guys in. So we'll see. But whoever the new guy is still going to have a great run game to lean on. And, we'll just have to see about the rest. This isn't, again, I think the fact that this isn't a surprise means he can work pretty quickly, but how quickly that is, we'll see.
Yeah, and we'll see what it looks like for that. Do you anticipate, though, because again, the quarterback play was a big reason why this offense was what it was and couldn't get things going towards the end. Does there need to be a look at that room too? Like if you take the 1,000-foot view and you say, is there an upgrade that we need here? Again, you can make additions whenever you want to, but that does also require guys willing to be able to take roles that maybe they don't want to take.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first part of that is just simply, when Prebula came back after the injury, his effectiveness really did trail off a little bit. But what was the reason for that? Was that because he was not anywhere close to 100%? He just didn't necessarily see it with the naked eye, or was it just that defenses had figured out everything he wanted to do and they were a lot better at stopping it? It's hard to know that answer right up front. So that's the first part of it. If you don't make a single change, you bring these two guys back into the fold next year. Granted, I guess you're risking one of them entering the portal, but there's not a guaranteed upgrade out there, I don't think. So you might have to lean on this. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Drinkwitz was talking about telling all the fans how much money it was going to take to keep Zollers in the fold. So that probably hints at him wanting to keep him, and that's probably part of the answer.
And we'll see what ends up happening there. A lot of changes could certainly still come before the dust really finally settles. But let's ask you about the playoff, Bill. It's a matchup that I don't know if any of us are really that excited about, but Alabama, Oklahoma, we get to watch it again. And, the projected point spread is pretty close. What's your SP Plus say about what this rematch could involve between OU and Bama?
Pretty similar to the first game, for better or worse, I guess. I think the SP Plus projection is basically 24-21 Oklahoma. I think the first game was 23-21. I guess it's just factoring in that OU scores at least one defensive touchdown. There's no way they get to 24 points on their own, but they don't have to worry about that. They always get contributions from defense and a kicker who can make 60-yard field goals. So, I mean, that's basically... the thing I'll say about OU, like extremely flawed team, obviously on primarily on offense, but nobody knows themselves better than this Oklahoma team. Alabama has no idea what it is right now. It doesn't know if it can trust its quarterback. It doesn't really know what it's bringing to the table. OU knows it can't trust its quarterback and knows it can really, really lean on that defense and hope for basically just like one damn bursting play like they got against Missouri. Got two of them, I guess, with that tunnel screen touchdown to Deion Burks against LSU. They're just hoping to hit like one or two big plays, maximize when they get a chance in the red zone. They maximize it. They're very good in the red zone, and then just let the defense take it from there. It's a very good defense. Really frustrated Alabama the first time around, even while giving up yards. And that's kind of the path to victory there. And on the other side, Alabama's path is don't give up defensive touchdowns, make OU drive 75 yards for scores, and they probably won't.
Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. It sure seems that the game after it next in the order, but the next day, Miami and Texas A&M could see a lot of points. I just wonder if you expect that, Bill, with how a team like Miami, who obviously they got in, and the campaign to get them in worked, and they were deserving, obviously, to at least be considered. Texas A&M, meanwhile, after that loss to Texas, and they maybe had more time to kind of question what they need to tweak after going 11-0. How do you kind of see the mental game for both of them into this contest?
If you tell me either one of these teams wins by 28 points right now, I'll believe you. It does feel like they're just, there are two defenses that are able to force a lot of negative plays. A&M especially is willing to risk some big plays occasionally to force you behind schedule and really create awkward downs and distances. They average the longest third downs required on defense, which is good. And they therefore have the best third down conversion rate allowed in the country, which is also very good. And it's going to be really interesting with Miami because they don't make very many big plays. They just kind of keep the trains moving and they stay on schedule. So I don't know what that means. Either one of those could dominate in that matchup, and it's hard to say immediately. And then meanwhile on offense is just all like great plays and implosions. And thinking back to that South Carolina game being the extreme example, but it really doesn't feel like any lead is safe against them. And also they can make a bunch of mistakes while ahead and let an opponent climb back. I think that the longer this game stays close, a blowout in either direction is on the table, but the longer it stays close, Miami's notorious conservatism and caution in close and late situations might be where this game, veers towards A&M a little bit. A&M's 4-0 in one-score games. They know what they can do in the late stages. Miami really doesn't know what they can do in these late stages.
And I guess they're going to find out potentially here. Tulane Ole Miss is another game we've seen. That was a 35-point blowout. Is there any hope for this one being more compelling, or is it just a mismatch?
No, I mean, I don't think it was the worst game of Jake Retzlaff's life, the Tulane quarterback. It was just dismal. It was the first time they couldn't run the ball, and he had to prove that he had chemistry with the receivers he just met like a month before, and he didn't at all. And so it was the worst possible scenario for Tulane in that game. Plus, they were playing a lot more aggressively on defense at the beginning of the year, gave up like 4 big pass plays, and that was basically it. That was the entire game. Now they're playing a lot more bend, don't break. It's kind of working pretty well for them. They're forcing a few more mistakes. And I think the thing they have going for them the most is just that we've had 6 rematches in college football this year. The team that lost the first one has won the second one 5 times. None of them lost by 35. So asking Tulane to make up that gap is probably a bit much, but asking them to make up the gap and make it a really competitive game, I don't see why they couldn't.
It'll be fascinating how, again, the mental aspect of that also comes through. And then, I mean, another game that's could be lopsided, but maybe James Madison just trying to prove people wrong there as they go to Oregon. I just wonder your thoughts on that, and if Oregon's able to again take care of business there. I mean, we've seen last year the 5 seed was really favorable because of the automatic buys and how you can advance that way. Yeah. How do you see the path for them if in fact they get past this one, and how James Madison can at least maybe try to keep it close?
I mean, I always root for the underdog here, and I do think JMU has a lot more upside than Tulane does. They probably have a lower floor too. I don't think their offensive line play is as good, and their offense can really become pretty all or nothing, which when you're matched up against a much more athletic team, that's a bad place to be. Their defense is dynamite though. Held Louisville played Louisville early in the year when Louisville was probably at its healthiest, held them to like 285 yards. The most efficient defense, in the country. They'll force you behind schedule a lot. Oregon will probably run the ball pretty well, but if they're winning third downs and forcing field goals, then they can absolutely, stay within shouting distance if they get a big play here and there. I mean, the best thing I can say here is that, for all the grumbling about, 2 mid-majors, well, A, Tulane beat Duke, and B, JMU would be comfortably favored against Duke, or comfortably, at least by, 3 to 6 points, I think. And so technically we probably got the better matchup here than we could have, although Duke obviously looked a little better at the end of the year. So, we'll see. It's an upset script kind of thing. If you can win the turnovers and win third downs and that kind of stuff, you'll have a chance. But the payoff here, if it isn't a very appealing game, is that Oregon, Texas Tech in the next round should be absolutely incredible. And so we'll have that to look forward to.
That'll certainly be a fun game to watch. Now, depending on some of these results here, I mean, obviously that's a matchup that we all think will happen, Oregon, Texas Tech, and could be a great game. Is there anybody above that in the seed line there? I mean, great teams that are above that could potentially be in trouble based on what matchup could be facing them come New Year's Eve.
Well, I do think, Oregon, from the perspective of my SP Plus rankings, Oregon and Texas Tech are really close together. Now, Texas Tech, every single time, they rise in the rankings, and then they continue to overachieve against projections by 2 touchdowns. So they might just fly. They might be even better than the numbers realize. But that does feel like a danger spot for them. And honestly, Indiana, especially if they're playing Alabama in the next round, I don't know who I would pick for OU Bama. Who knows? But just in terms of pure athleticism, that does a lot to handle on the defensive side of the ball. Ohio State just held them to 13 points, so Bama could hold them to 14 or 17, and that makes that one pretty dangerous too. So, in theory, all 5 through 8s here, 5 and Miami for that matter, are athletic enough to compete really well. But yeah, I think basically, if you think about who can actually win the title from here, I would say it's the top 5, and then a decent drop off to Ole Miss and A&M after that.
Bill Connelly of ESPN here on the Big Show KTGR. Last one, Bill, we thought the coaching carousel was over, but sure enough, no. Michigan now open. Just a wild story about Sharon Moore, and one that I'm sure isn't close to being done, but just now with the aspect of Michigan being open and their status as a program, and still can be a top program, I'm sure. Yeah. It's an attractive job still. But just how do you view that situation going forward with that particular team?
Well, I mean, obviously, from a school perspective, they got to figure out what they want to do with their athletic director first. Warren Manuel has not exactly covered himself in glory in recent years, either from hiring unstable, basketball coach Dwan Howard, tussled with multiple people. The hockey situation was a mess. Football, obviously, you won a national title, but everybody got show cause penalties or got fired or whatever. And so it feels like this might be a perfect opportunity for just a completely fresh start. Yeah, you have all the resources in the world. You have a recent national title. You're going to be able to attract some big names, even if a lot of them just signed contract extensions that might have taken them off the table. We'll see. But you should be able to come up with a pretty good candidates list here. And you just have to decide whether you want that athletic director making that hire or not.
That is a big question to answer first. So we'll see whether they decide to make the change and how quickly that could happen then to get the head coach taken care of too. Bill Connelly here on the Big Show, KTGR. You can find him at ESPN_Bill C on Twitter. And of course, all kinds of great coverage leading up to the college football playoff on Friday when it starts with Alabama and Oklahoma. Great to have him here on the Big Show. Thanks for coming on, Bill. Enjoy your CFP weekend. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
It's the Big Show at 442 KTGR and the KTGR app. It is fascinating now what order of operations they decide to take. Because, they would need a new AD if they want to move on from Warren Manuel. But there are so many moving parts that need to happen before that head coach gets put in place.
Good luck to him. But like you said, I think it is still an attractive job. And so kind of like we talked about LSU, where it was like, oh, the sky's falling. It's a total chaotic mess. It ended up working out pretty well for them. They got the candidate that they wanted. Who's to say whether he will succeed there? But I do think Michigan will end up going similarly, that they will get a good candidate. And it's not like Sharon Moore was removed from all this controversy. It was like their top pick. Harbaugh leaves and they pick up the pieces the way that they did and still kept the train rolling largely. But I think at the end of the day, they'll end up probably settling on their feet, but it'll be a minute before that happens.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. And we'll talk some more Mizzou at 5:25. And Josh Manning reportedly entering the portal. What impact could that have? More Chiefs talk at 5:05. But under the bus coming up next. Sorry, I lost respect for Diego Pavia after the Heisman ceremony. I know he apologized, but I lost respect for him. We'll get to that next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's rounded rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Kansas City falls 16-13 yesterday to the Los Angeles Chargers. This means the Chiefs will now miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014. Patrick Mahomes left the game late in the fourth quarter after an MRI. Chiefs learned that he had suffered a torn ACL. Two Mizzou football players earned All-American honors today. Running back Ahmad Hardy named to the first team. Offensive tackle Keegan Trost to the third team. The Tigers will take on Virginia in the Citrus Bowl Saturday, December 27th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. You can hear that one right here on KTGR. Over the weekend, Washington State announced that Mizzou offensive coordinator Kirby Moore will be named as its newest head coach. Moore had just finished his third season with the Tigers in that position. Tigers also learned wide receiver Joshua Manning will enter the transfer portal. Mizzou men's basketball winners 82-60 yesterday over Bethune-Cookman. Mizzou women's basketball winners as well, as they improved to 10-3 after an 82-66 win against St. Louis University. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Billiards on Broadway. It's home to fresh hand-patted burgers, fresh cut fries, and a long list of Missouri beers on tap. And don't forget the pool tables and huge TVs. Get to Billiards on Broadway in downtown Columbia.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a mild night compared to what we've had the last several evenings. We're dropping down into the upper 20s. Tomorrow we'll see more sunshine with highs making it up into the low 50s. Wednesday is a little bit more breezy, but sunny with temperatures in the low 50s. We'll be tracking rain chances moving in between Wednesday night and Thursday. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
This holiday season, help those who are food insecure in our community. Join KTGR during the Commerce Bank 1-for-1 Holiday Food Drive, Wednesday, December 17th. Drop off your donations from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Columbia Mall or at Buckeye in Jefferson City off Missouri Boulevard. All the money raised will go toward the food bank for Central and Northeast Missouri. Help those in need during KTGR's 1-for-1 Holiday Food Drive with Commerce Bank. Find more details on the KTGR app.
So, Mr. Fancy Dancy Sports Car Dude, you say you were distracted by a raccoon feasting in the road? Okay. How about the fact that you were going way too fast when there's like 5 inches of snow on the ground? Nice ditch you got there, bro. Now you need a savior, a do-over. Find your phone and just Google I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for slide-offs. When your winter world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. A raccoon. Just ridiculous.
From lean dinners to holiday winners, Pork has you covered. Need a quick weeknight meal? Pork chops. Planning the ultimate feast? How about a show-stopping ham or pork loin? And there's nothing easier than ground pork for cozy comfort foods like soups and meatballs. Make this holiday season your most flavorful yet. Visit tastewhatporkcando.com. This message brought to you by Missouri Pig Farmers and the Pork Checkoff.
It's hard to believe basketball season is already here. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill reminds you that whether you need a place to grab a bite after a local high school or college game, or you just want to plop down with some friends and watch some hoops on TV, they've got a spot for you. 1851 Underground has drink specials and discount appetizers for happy hour. Check them out on Facebook or at 1851underground.com. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
If you need prunings or any of that stuff, call Advanced Tree Solutions.
Happy holidays from our family
at Advanced Tree Solutions.
Hello, this is Eric Merriman, owner of Advanced Tree Solutions. Happy holidays from our family here at Advanced Tree Solutions. We want to say thank you for supporting local business. With Christmas in the air, what could be a better time to think about trees? If you have trees needing removed or pruned, now is an excellent time to do so this winter. We should all take care of our trees because they take care of us. Trust the experts in tree care. Trust your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
Hi, we're Midway Electric. When winter hits, electrical issues can turn serious fast, at home or at your business. That's why you need a trusted local team that shows up, solves the problem, and stands behind the work. From whole home generators and security systems to everyday service and repairs, Midway Electric has you covered. And now through January, get $500 off a whole home generator installation to keep you powered up no matter the weather. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at APIProjectFitness.com.
You've seen them in the store, the sample people, peddling frozen meatballs and tiny toothpicks stuck inside even tinier cubes of aged cheddar. At ShopMidmo.com, we don't need free cheese to get your attention. We've got real deals on local stuff you actually want. Restaurants, spas, family fun, car care, and more. All for up to 50% off. No samples, no gimmicks, no tiny toothpicks. Just the best deals in mid-Missouri.
ShopMidmo.com. ShopMidmo.com.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
All right, so a situation that we don't know much about, so we won't speculate. Eli Drinkwitz will probably be asked about it tomorrow, but Zion Young was arrested over the weekend, early Saturday morning, cited for, as according to the arrest report, Missouri State Highway Patrol, DWI, speeding, failure to properly affix license plate. He was released on summons. He wasn't booked into jail. He was released, and Eli Drinkwitz did put out a statement about it in the reporting, saying that they're aware of it, they'll address it. So we don't know much about it. does put a little bit of question into whether or not he plays in this bowl game. We don't know, but just the situation that I guess that needs to be monitored for now, it would seem.
Yeah, I mean, I would have probably counted him as not playing in the bowl game potentially anyway with NFL draft reasons.
Sure.
That's really the big shame of it all is you don't want to be in situations like this ahead of the NFL draft that you're hoping to make your name. Like, it's unfortunate that, this is something that teams are now going to be asking about or aware about. And, that's not the image I know that you want and Zion Young wants. And so, like you said, we don't have a lot of other information than that. That's just the unfortunate nature of it, given the timing is that he's about to go through that NFL draft process, we assume. And so that's unfortunate for a guy that's been, a model representative of the program otherwise.
Yes, we'll see if there's resolution to it. Just for now, though, it's
Under the Bus.
It's a honk of the horn for the timing of it. And really, there's never good timing for it. It's always bad. What the accusation was, obviously, we don't know, but just something to watch as Mizzou prepares for the Gator Bowl, and we'll see if Eli Drinkwitz talks about it at all. Tomorrow we will have media availability at noon. Diego Pavia. Buddy.
America's sweetheart.
Not anymore. Like, come on. He's starting to sour on this, man. Like, I get it. He was incredible for 2 years at a school that has not really had a player like him, I think, ever. But man, you don't do this. Like, you don't just say bleep all the voters when you finish second. And I get it. It was a close race, and I'm sure you wanted to win. But like, come on, if the roles were flipped, Fernando Mendoza doesn't do this.
No,
like,
he doesn't.
Come on, like, don't do this. He apologized afterwards after the social media post he made and said, shouldn't compose myself that way, everything like that. But come on, man.
Plucky little Vanderbilt. People are turning
Wanting
on
to
him.
add games to the schedule and all that.
I didn't mind
Just,
that. I didn't mind that.
Don't do that. It just
Didn't mind it.
Oh.
This I was a little more disappointed. Not surprised. He's kind of been that brash, bold guy, and there, of course, there was going to be some sort of reaction when he, promoted the fact that they were going to win the national championship, and then they get left out of the playoff. Like, that's a short circuit situation. He just didn't know what to do with himself after that, and so he put all his energy. Well, maybe I can at least win the Heisman. Nope, didn't even win that, and so he's, kind of going off the deep end a little bit.
Like, I kind of hoped that he had grown up from the whole, urinating on the logo at the practice field in New Mexico. But
I like that too. I like that about him as well.
No.
I don't have a problem with any of this existing because it doesn't affect me in any way, and it's great to talk about. Like, Diego Pavia is out there in the world doing Diego Pavia stuff. That is, as a sports talk host, that is what I want from him. So, yeah, we'll honk the horn because that's the segment, but I kind of love it. I mean, I love every part of it because was it ever going to go any other way for Diego Pavia this year? I mean, this is it was predestined for him to lash out because he thinks he should have won and you know what? I might even be defending him if he weren't so terrible against Missouri. He didn't deserve to win that game. They won in spite of him, and Missouri completely shut him down. And so from that day, I was like, no Heisman for you. And that's why I'm glad he didn't win. Didn't deserve it.
He didn't deserve it. Anyway, this I thought was hilarious, and I was watching it in real time yesterday. Obviously not hilarious that the Chiefs missed the playoffs. That's not the point, though. Under the bus to Amazon. Right as the game ended yesterday, like, Mahomes injured, taken to the locker room. Minshew, pick.
Interception.
Chargers win. Go to break. CBS goes to the next break. The very next ad is Amazon promoting the Christmas game between the Broncos and the Chiefs. Hey, you can see Bo Nix and the Broncos take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
And neither of them are going to play.
That needs an edit. That needs an edit immediately.
Oh, brutal.
Not immediate enough, though.
Who do they turn to? Is it Kelsey, but then like he just kind of opts out of the rest of the season?
Is Kelsey going to play? I don't know. Take on Andy Reid and the Chiefs.
He'll still be coaching there, I assume.
Yeah, I assume he'll be on the sideline somewhere.
Can't very well put Butker on there.
No, we can't. Chris Jones, maybe.
Maybe
do that.
Defensive tackles aren't really, not typically who you lean on for promotional consideration. Yeah. Maybe they go like Remigio. Maybe they got to go down the depth chart a little bit. I don't know.
Rashard Smith and the Chiefs.
It's Juju's team. Here we go.
Under the bus.
By the way, Juju's totally going for 100 yards on Christmas. That's all I know to be true at this point.
Absolutely.
Oh, boy.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
Look, I took the Jets plus 13.5 because I was ready to see Cook.
No.
He at least did for one touchdown. That first touchdown that he threw when he throws it and then they immediately cut on the broadcast to his folks celebrating.
Yeah.
That is what it's made of, people. That is excellent stuff right there. Congrats to Brady Cook for having that type of moments. Look, maybe he'll start again. Who knows? We'll see.
Maybe.
Jets fired the defensive coordinator today. It wasn't Brady Cook's fault.
Yeah, Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, Steve
That's
Wilkes.
the second time that's happened. Brady Cook involved. Yeah, that part's funny. Good for Brady Cook. He did not get his anytime touchdown. He did hit the rushing yardage prop that I knew he was going to run a little bit. He knew he was going to run a little bit.
He's got some wings.
I root for him to play next weekend. I do have that team I told you about. It advanced because of Kyle Pitts, even though I had no quarterback on my daily fantasy lineup. Justin Fields is on that team, so I'm kind of hoping. No, Brady Cook can play.
Okay.
It's fine. It's okay.
All right, there we go. Up next, more Chiefs talk. What does this down season mean for the future? We'll talk about it next.
This year, take a bite out of one holiday hassle and have your festive feast expertly prepared by Main Event Catering, the chefs of Courtyard by Marriott Columbia. Ready for pickup? You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more smiles with family. All the favorites: turkey, ham, prime rib, roast beef, even fried chicken and more. Plus, any of the side dishes and desserts your crew craves. Treat to your family with Main Event Catering. Order Holiday Magic today. 443-8000, 443-8000, and jingle all the way.
And now the doggy dedication with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. This week's letter comes from Coco in Colombia. Coco writes, "Dear Kretsch's, my human's been whizzing off his new deck nonstop. I've never seen him so happy. But while he's making salty lemon snow cones, I don't have a place to pee of my own. If I had a wood fence to whiz on, I could unleash my freedom stream from a three-legged lean. Well, Coco, Kretsch's Custom Exteriors can build you that fence to splatter your bladder. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside."
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Colombia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Sticklin.
And I'm Sarah Sticklin McDonald of the Sticklin & Sticklin Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field.
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Sticklin & Sticklin.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
I'm Christine Lisi. Today, Chiefs coach Andy Reid told reporters that quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who suffered a season-ending torn ACL in his left knee, did not have any major damage to other ligaments. He's heading to Dallas to get a second opinion on the knee and is expected to have surgery later in the week. Today's MRI confirmed that Packers defensive end Micah Parsons sustained a season-ending torn ACL yesterday as well. It is a massive loss for Green Bay, obviously, and also puts some heat on one of his teammates, says Unsportsmanlike co-host Chris Canty.
This is an opportunity for Jordan Love to make a statement about who he is and what his tenure as a Green Bay Packers quarterback is going to be all about. Are you going to wilt when the pressure is at its greatest? and when the lift is at its heaviest, or are you going to be able to come through like your predecessors?
The Colts are staying with Phillip Rivers as their starting quarterback next Monday night against the 49ers. With the contract of reliever Edwin Diaz, the deferred payment obligations for the Dodgers up to $1.06 billion to 9 players through 2047. Nebraska quarterback Dylan Raiola plans to enter the transfer portal when it opens next month. He'll have 2 seasons of eligibility left.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
So more Chiefs talk. It's existential talk. We weren't planning to have the existential talk this early in the season, but here we are. Chiefs out of the playoffs. What did this down season mean? Does it mean the dynasty's over? Does it mean it's just a blip on the radar and they're back after this? Like Mahomes comes back and everything's just fine. They have a revamp like they've done in the past, and 2026 they're off and running once again as a title contender. We'll get more into that here in just a few minutes. Some Mizzou talk at 5:25. Mizzou football to be specific. Josh Manning reportedly entering the portal. What could that mean? And at 5:45, Cardinals and Royals were busy with making off-season moves over the weekend, and I kind of like both of them. We'll get to that. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Yeah, the Chiefs season and that of Patrick Mahomes is done. In mid-December, the Chiefs eliminated from playoff contention with their loss to the Chargers yesterday. 16-13, low-scoring affair. Mahomes tearing the ACL late in that game as he tried to help stage a comeback bid. Yeah, it went from bad to worse on that. Gardner Minshew will be finishing out the season for the Chiefs, and we've got bigger fish to fry, more questions to ask about what the future of this Mahomes era is going to be. Is this kind of like the second act getting ready to begin? We know some changes are going to need to be made to that Chiefs team, but Mahomes said, I'll be back, so he's not counting himself out yet, and I don't think Chiefs fans should count him out either, but yeah, changes will be necessary.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Well, Mizzou football's got some quarterback questions. We don't know who will be back or who will be starting next year. Offensive coordinator is unknown. Excited to see who Drink goes with on the hire for that one, though. Now we'll add the wide receiver room questions to the mix. Josh Manning entering the transfer portal reportedly today. That's the first one that really stings a bit, like him as a player, and I think he is the first one that you'll need to replace from the outside. Like, I think a transfer in at receiver will be necessary to replace Manning's production. Just more questions to the table for Mizzou football.
Number 3.
Let's talk some Mizzou men's basketball after their game on Sunday. No, I'm just kidding. Play a real schedule, and I'll talk about you. Anyway, the Jets let Brady cook. Yes, love to see it. He did throw 3 interceptions, but the touchdown pass, the moment where the camera pans to his parents in the crowd, that was really cool. He ran around a little bit. Look, the Jets defense stinks. Firing Steve Wilkes after the game, giving up 48 to the Jaguars. Kind of ironic there. But it wasn't Brady Cook's fault that they lost, and I hope they let him play again because he's fun to watch.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
All right, here's my attempt at Amazon Prime Video's new promo for the Chiefs-Broncos game coming up. Coming this Christmas on Prime Video. Bo Nix and the Broncos in an AFC West battle with Noah Gray and the Chiefs. Now, can Clyde Edwards-Helaire lead Kansas City to... Al Michaels promises to not fall asleep. Probably. Don't miss it. Good? Maybe a little bit more brainstorming with that one. But yeah, Christmas night's going to be ugly. There's no doubt.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
Cardinals made a signing over the weekend that I think is really savvy by Chaim Bloom and company. They signed Dustin May. Former pitcher for the Dodgers, was last with the Red Sox, and maybe an upside arm to help the rotation.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875 KTGR if you want to call or text us. Yeah, I don't know what to do and how to react to moves in the offseason by the Cardinals that kind of excite me. I don't know how to react to that. It's not normal.
I'm not saying Dustin May is like going to be an ace, but at one time people thought he would be and battled a bunch of injuries. And this last season was actually the healthiest he's been. And so Chaim Bloom going, all right, let's try a 1-year deal, go after some upside. You never know. Throwing arms at the problem. Show up to spring training with way more than 5 that could contribute, and maybe you end up with 5 that are halfway decent. We'll see. Knowing the expectations are lowered, yet I'm kind of more excited about the Cardinals this year because I think the creative way that they're looking to go about things could be a lot of fun to follow.
Yeah. We'll talk more about it a little later on this hour. Give us your thoughts on that. 573-875-KTGR. But we got to talk more Chiefs here. I mean, we'll get some of your texts from last hour. Jason saying they need a bona fide number 1 back, not a 7th rounder. Let's hope and pray he pans out type.
That's a problem. They've got bigger issues than running back. But
I think
he's right.
so. Yeah.
You know,
it's like one of them. Like, you can't. I think you can't ignore it anymore. Like the Isaiah Pacheco, Brashard Smith bucket is not always going to provide you the back that you need to be a feared run game. And it's not like you need like the best run game in the NFL to bring this back out of the water, but you do need better than what you've got. And that might require spending a 4th round pick on a running back instead of a 7th round pick, which is what they've done with running backs last few years or so. And I get it. Like last year, they said, well, running back was really deep last year, and so we liked all the guys.
And they skipped them all, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's still like that's the. And look, Brashard Smith, this was just the rookie year. Maybe they use him more, and maybe he turns out to something that they can use, but not to the degree of like he's a between the tackles running back that can guarantee you 4 or 5 yards when you need him on first down and make sure you're not on schedule. It's not, that's not the guy they got out of Brashard Smith a year into seeing what he can do. So like, go and find that guy. Like he exists. I'm
Cam
sure.
Scatabo was drafted in the 4th round. Basil Tutin is contributing to Jags. He was a 4th round pick. I'm just looking at last year because I do think they missed the boat. Woody Marks looks really good for Houston. He was a mid 4th round pick. I mean, that's just Dylan Sampson has contributed to the Cleveland Browns out of Tennessee. You know, we saw him in the SEC. He's a solid player. They totally skipped over that range of the draft to bring back Kareem Hunt, who has been fine, but like that's an indictment on your process, I think, when you can roll in and go, you know, Kareem Hunt is probably our best option right now. We should probably have him taking on the bulk of the snaps at the position. That's a problem with the way you've handled the position.
Every running back except for Brashard Smith is a free agent.
And I like Brashard Smith. He's like a pass catching kind of scat back.
Yeah,
that's fine to have around.
Yeah, have him. But I don't think you should bring back any of them.
Like, I agree. I would bring back Smith and as my like 3rd down receiving back at best. And then I would bring it, and I wouldn't dip into the Elijah Mitchell bucket either. Like that was always just weird. Just go get somebody, even if you have to spend up a little bit. And I still say, like, I think we see things go differently if they had Brashard Smith. Breece Hall. I was thinking about the Breece Hall non-trade.
Like maybe trading for him.
But at the same time, now it does look like they need that 3rd round pick more than to have traded it for a running back that they would then have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are in too much of a cap hell situation to have done that. It would have been a fun thing to like go all in on this season. Obviously, Mahomes tearing his ACL, then you would have regretted doing it. But I don't know what would have happened. I don't know if they would have probably won an extra game or so, but I don't know if they would have gotten the playoffs. And if Mahomes still tears the ACL in this little butterfly effect game that I'm playing, you know, you're regretting that move. So they've got a lot of things they've got to address at this point. And I don't know if Brett Veach is the guy for the job either, by the way. Like, I'm not convinced that he's going to be able to turn this thing around on a dime like they need. You cannot be squandering 2-3 years of Mahomes on rebuildy type activities.
Here's the thing. He's done it before. Like the move to trade Tyreek Hill was a questionable one at the time, but it ended up working out. And it's like that was a Brett Veach thing. And it's like they revamped the last time they missed the Super Bowl after that fact. They got a revamp on the offensive line, and they made sure that Mahomes was protected. And here's the thing. I trust that the organization can identify what the main problem is and attack it full force. The problem is there's not a main problem with this.
There's a bunch of problems.
There's a bunch of little ones that all added up to 6 and 8 so far.
And if I may,
yeah,
like Josh Simmons, again, hopefully ends up panning out as a pick, but you have the health issues. Norman Lott was their 2nd round pick. Like Jalen Royals, total duds at this point in the 4th round. Like haven't gotten anything out of him. We talked about Rashard Smith for a 7th round. Like they didn't have an overwhelmingly strong draft, I think, this last time through. And there are teams like, I think about Sean McVay and the Rams. There are moments where it looks like they're cooked. And then the next draft happens and they've got like suddenly 6 or 8 contributors from that draft that are just dudes all over their defense. And they've got, Puka Nacua coming out of, they got to nail this draft a little bit better upcoming. I think the Chiefs do.
Well, here's what's interesting. This being brought up from Josh on our texter, is it time to trade Chris Jones? And look, with Chris Jones's contract, make sure I have it in front of me. He is signed through 2028. He is due $44.8 million next year, 38 the next year after that, and then back to 44.8 for 2028. It's a long contract. It's a lot of money. Here's the problem, though. Like, I think he didn't live up to it this year, but, like, generally speaking, you overpay for those guys. Like, he is the anchor of your defense. When he is on point, everybody else looks better, and that's invaluable in the NFL. The problem is you've got overpayments elsewhere. George Karlaftis just got a big, long contract, and he did not live up to it this year.
He might be just decidedly mid.
Nick Bolton's big extension kind of kicks in next year. You owe him, I believe, $19 million.
And that's a luxury deal. Like you sign linebackers to those deals as a luxury when everything else is going great.
Right.
And everything else is not going great.
Yeah. So
do they trade a cornerback is my question.
Trent McDuffie. That's
a
possibility.
Because that's the comp to the Tyreek Hill where you're like, we're trying to get 1st round picks back to reload this thing.
Yeah. Like
that would be my thought.
That is, he's on the 5th year option next year, I believe. And so he's due $13.5 million. You're either running it back with him on that, or you're extending him, or I think you probably need to think about the trade aspect there too. Now, are you
probably
both?
Consider it.
Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie? No, I don't think so.
I don't think Chris Jones has 2 good years left, though. Like, if I can get value for him, I would trade him.
That'd be hard to do both in the same offseason, if you ask me.
From a perspective of, like, just making your defense worse?
Yeah, because you still need a pass rush, and you're probably not going to sign it through free agency outside of Chris Jones.
Get a bunch of picks and nail the draft, I think, is a way to try to bail yourself out of this.
Sure, but they've done that. They've tried that with the offensive line before, and it didn't quite work out the way they wanted. Now, they didn't have Omar Norman Lott this year. It would have been nice to have him this season, but he had a torn ACL or season-ending injury early on, and you didn't get to see what he could be at D tackle after he had kind of a promising start. So, like, you already want to see what you have there.
Yeah.
But
you got to pick your poison.
You've got to the first pick out of, like, they could be in the top 12 this year. I think right now, as it stands, they would be 11 in the draft order in the 1st round. If it ended today, I'm not sure where they'll end up. They'll probably still beat the Titans and the Raiders, even though Gardner Minshew's in there. So, like, you'll probably still end up with 8 wins. It'd be kind of like maybe around the 13-14 range as your first pick. But defensive end needs to be the first addressed position, don't you think?
Yeah, and like this isn't a year where I think offense is going to be as prominent. Spend like a 4th rounder, maybe a 3rd rounder if there's like a running back that you think is a stud that dips into that range. You got to be careful because not all those 4th rounders are going to hit, but I do think you have to prioritize the position in a different way. And don't do like the old stodgy conservative way of coaching where you don't play the exciting running back in the prime of his athletic career. Like, play a rookie running back. You can do it. It's allowed. Mike Vrabel learning that lesson finally with Travion Henderson as he is just like absolutely oozing with talent and explosiveness.
Sure.
By the way, did you see Drake May lead blocking for Travion Henderson on that 65-yard touchdown?
Yeah.
That was so cool.
That was awesome.
They lost the game, so MVP, not going to happen. But yeah, like other than running back, I'm kind of like, let's handle the defense and make sure we're sure with depth on the O-line, because apparently you can lose more than half of your O-line to injuries in like a single game sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with letting this be a defense draft and telling Mahomes, like, if you can't figure it out with Worthy and Rice as your main two guys, then, what are we doing here anymore? There are quarterbacks who have a lot less to work with than those two. So that's my take. I think defense heavy on the draft.
Samuel texting in, there's no or he's saying, I think there needs to be a lot of roster questions. I believe shopping George Karlaftis and Chris Jones can't be off the table. No one wants Karlaftis. That's way too bad of a contract right now. Jawan Taylor needs to be cut. They could do that. He's owed $27 million next year, so we'll see what that looks like. And I'm forcing Kelsey to retire, Samuel goes on, or come back at a minimum. Butker also needs to go as well. There's a lot of pressure on this upcoming draft for Brett Beach and company. Here's the thing. It's not that simple, though. Like, you can't. I think it's even hard to tell Harrison Mevis to go. He's signed through 2028.
Oh, I would never tell Harrison Mevis to go.
Or Harrison Mevis. I said Mevis. Oh, no, I would never say that.
They should have told Harrison Mevis to show up to the facility.
Exactly.
That's their problem.
That's what happened.
Harrison Mevis is about to get a ring.
Butker, on the other hand.
Yeah, Butker.
Like, that's
they
a tough
have the wrong Harrison.
Yeah.
It's a bad situation. They got a lot of bad situations. And the best thing to do is to just cut bait with as many of them as you can. I agree, Karlaftis, you can't. But, like, do you have to trade Chris Jones to account for the fact that you have to play Karlaftis at whatever he's going to give you? Yeah. Like, I think they have forced themselves into some decisions that you don't necessarily want to make, but the best way forward is through it, is to go through the storm and to make some of those decisions and find that second era Mahomes roster. Like, people are making the comps to the Tom Brady Patriots because 8 years, 3 Super Bowls, tears the ACL in the 9th, like whatever it's like the timeline lines up almost exactly with Tom Brady's ACL, and then comes back, but it's not with the same cast and crew. And I think we're in the era of the Chiefs where, like, they have been so successful for so long that they're trying to cling to that. And maybe we have to put it to the test of, like, a lot of these other guys were great, but Mahomes made them greater because he was here, and he can do it with the next crop of players and teammates as well. And lean into that a little bit, even if it's scary. That's what I would prefer to see the Chiefs do, because I don't want to see them cling to a vestige of what they used to be and avoid difficult decisions because what if it sets us back? And I'm not even saying like a rebuilding year would be acceptable. Now, the AFC West has gotten a lot better. Shout out to the Raiders for continuing to suck. But like, those other two teams are legitimate playoff contenders now and probably will be again next year. But that does not mean that you can't, as the Chiefs, get right back to at least making the playoffs. But it needs to be a decisive offseason, I think, to get them there.
Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Victor texting in, Reed needs to come back. I think you have to get rid of Nagy. Absolutely. Kelsey being 36 and will be 37 early next season. Certainly doesn't help matters in terms of return. That said, do you believe there's someone to fill the void? He would leave. I don't think it's Gray, and they never gave Wiley any kind of run this year. Jared Wiley was coming off a knee injury last season that made him miss all season. So like maybe they were being more careful with him. Robert Tonyan was in the room. I believe still is. Might see him next 3 games or so. But that kind of goes along with Ben's question. Like, everyone's saying, let these and those players go.
Right. Who replaces them?
Yeah. Who replaces them? Like that's fair. That's the thing is
draft. I want picks and someone who knows how to make them. And maybe if Veach is the guy, then great. But I want to take my shot.
I don't think Brett Veach is getting canned for this. First of all, like, he's going to be the guy making these decisions.
I don't think he's getting fired either. I'm just saying, like, I want to have confidence that whoever's in charge of this thing is going to be able to identify the talent to on the fly replace. Like, I would say that it's an underdog option to do it all through the draft. But like you said, if you can cut certain guys to shed some money, the offensive line thing will need to be reworked again. And lean in, because it's possible to identify talented young players that can contribute immediately. That's what a lot of NFL teams are able to do, the successful ones. And I feel like there's just been this notion with the Chiefs of, like, we kind of do things a certain way. The veterans lead the way, and it's okay if year one we look at our draft class and say they didn't really contribute. But then, like, you get another year along, and it turns out maybe those guys just weren't very good. Have a willingness to draft people, let them contribute in year one. Obviously, injuries is part of the reason that's not happened as much this year with your top 2 picks. But I think they need to sort of lean into a new era and be willing to have the holdovers of the old era just kind of be Mahomes and Andy Reid, and then be willing to cut the fat in a lot of other areas and see where that gets you, and lean in on the notion of like, we'll be the new Chiefs and we'll be willing to make the adjustments that have to come with time. And yeah, I would be coming in with a very different looking team next year, because this year's team just did not work.
Victor on our YouTube channel giving a comment. If Love falls to KC at the 10 to 12 range, would be okay with KC taking him.
I figured it out. We're not taking Jeremiah Love. We are rebuilding next year, because when Ahmad Hardy's coming out, that's when you want to be drafting running back. Can I talk you into one more year of Kareem Hunt? I totally forgot about the fact that the running back answer is just down I-70. But unfortunately, due to rules and regulations, you have to wait one more year to collect him. First round pick Ahmad Hardy in 2027. Who says no?
I mean, definitely not me. That's for sure.
Draft the defense and everything else. Draft the O-line with this draft.
Other, places.
Trade McDuffie, trade Chris Jones, get all the picks to fix everything else, and then come in with a luxury first round pick. It'll be in the middle probably. After a down season. Like if I asked you today, predict the Chiefs record for next year, they're going to have a 3rd place schedule. I mean, if there's any upside to it, they have a 3rd place schedule for the first time in like
Patrick Mahomes with a 3rd place schedule on that team.
Dangerous.
Like he has only worked with a 1st place schedule his entire career. So like
I'm not even kidding that I think that makes a difference in it being a lot easier for them to kind of wedge their way back in next year, even if it's with kind of a rebuilt team on the fly with some of the changes that may have to be made. Kind of can't wait to see that schedule. People are going to look at that and go, oh, the NFL is just letting the Chiefs have that. It's like, hey, this is the way it's always worked. And I think that alone could help it flip back in their favor next year, to be honest with you.
That's a good point. Seamus here on the KTGR hotline. Let's get to him. Seamus, what you got on the Chiefs?
I mean, there's 3 big questions that are going to guide the offseason. The first one is, what coaching staff changes are you making? It's not going to be Reed. It's not going to be Spags, but maybe Tobe, probably, Nagy, Connor Embry, the wide receivers coach, because they have looked better in college by far than anything they've put out in the league. Your next one's going to be whether you keep McDuffie or Watson, because you can't keep both, and your best time to trade McDuffie would be now. And then what the heck is going to happen with that D-line? That's the third thing. You know, Jones is old on a big deal. Karlaftis is on a reasonable deal for what he does, but you need somebody else there to actually give you a push. And I'll leave you with one parting thought real quick.
Yeah.
This is the first non-playoff team that James Winchester has been on. Yeah. Man's been on the Chiefs for 10 years.
Longest tenure, baby. Appreciate the call, Seamus, here on the Big Show, KTGR. Yeah, a lot of thoughts there. There does need to be, I think, a shakeup of the coaching staff. I don't know specifically who it needs to be. I wouldn't be upset by them telling Matt Nagy, yeah, sorry, we gotta move on. I have a hard time seeing it though. It's just like it's one of those things. It's not completely similar to the Mizzou Kirby Moore stuff, but this is Andy Reid's offense. It's not Matt Nagy's offense. Like if you're upset about what the offense is, turn that attention to Andy Reid and not Matt Nagy. It is essentially the same between him and other OCs.
The enemy. Is it fair to say though that Matt Nagy has not elevated Andy Reid's offense, and so therefore, it's okay to search for somebody who will do so? I don't think that's unreasonable, and I also think when you have a great head coach, and Andy Reid is a great head coach, it's okay to have a scapegoat. It's okay. Like sometimes you're not going to be the thing that changes. They're not going to blow it up and get you out of there. So let's change a different variable and see. I do think that I'm not putting Drink on Reid's level, but I do think that's a comparison where you can say, right, we're not kicking Drink out the door. So if something's going to change, it's going to be the other guy. And let's see if he can elevate what we've got going on. I think there's a little bit of that with the Chiefs, and because it's round 2 with Matt Nagy and things didn't go well with the Bears, like it's okay. Like there are worse things than saying, let's try somebody else out in this role and see what it gets us. And you should have people that are clamoring to work. with Patrick Mahomes. So I can't imagine that it should be difficult to find a quality candidate in that spot.
So we'll see what that looks like. But I do think the coaching staff needs to look different next year. He mentioned Dave Toub, like maybe. Dave Toub's been there for a while, though, and he has been good at the job before. It's just, this year, special teams has not been great for the old Chiefs.
I'm putting it on Brett Veach more than anybody. Nail the draft. Nail the decisions leading up to the draft and nail the damn draft.
Yeah.
Because that's what they need to jumpstart this thing. It can be done.
Yeah, because
that's what they need.
The personnel did not work together. Like
exactly.
That's
right.
ultimately what it was. And you could maybe argue that the coaching staff did not get the best out of said personnel. I don't worry about scheme, though. I don't worry about any of that. The scheme of the offense is fine. They're just guys that did not get the job done. And so you've got to find the ones that can. And that's a hard thing to do. And it's a hard look in the mirror that the Chiefs all of a sudden have to give themselves in this offseason. But the quicker they can do it, the more likely that they can take advantage of that third place schedule that they're going to have in 2026. We'll see if they can get it done. Keep getting your calls and texts in about the Chiefs, 573-875-KTGR. No playoffs for them. Mahomes toward ACL. We'll see how that goes. We'll ask the injury expert, Will Carroll, about his thoughts on that tomorrow. Okay, Mizzou talk next. Josh Manning reportedly in the transfer portal. What does that mean for Mizzou's offense that is also still looking for an OC? That's next.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
'Twas dawn, all the Who's still abed, and the Grinch began plotting a plan in his head. I'll swipe all their presents, the ribbons, the wrapping. I'll replace them with bedbugs and termites for trapping. 3,000 feet up on the side of Mount Crumpet, with a bag full of bugs, he was ready to dump it. As he poo-pooed the Who's while grinchishly humming, the Grinch never saw Steve's pest control coming.
Calmly, quietly, the Who's picked up their phones and called the best pest control friend that they know.
And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they'll say, Steve and his trucks drove the bugs all away. The Grinch learned his lesson, his plan oh so vicious, to never mess with your friend in the pest control business.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business, Steve's Pest Control.
As we wrap up the end of 2025, we always try to encourage our clients that are looking for roofs, decks, siding, windows, covered porches, or whatever the project may be, kitchens, baths, basements, just to go ahead and start the process now at the end of 25 for those of you that are looking to get projects done in the first half of 2026, because things do book up fast once the holidays are over, the new year hits, and everyone starts focusing again on getting their stuff lined up for the summer. So now's the time if you want to beat the rush. Yeah, when you get started early, you have time where we can work through budgets and ideas, and we can start with your dream wish list, and we can offer financing to complement that and get the project not only that you really want and will upgrade your home, but also that's comfortable to you budget-wise.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com.
Hit a deer, win a cow. Hit a deer, win a cow. Hit a deer, win a cow. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. FPP, Easy's 1, 2, 3. Award-winning auto collision repair. Don't wait, we're great. We work with all insurance companies. We work with all insurance companies. Yes, we work with your insurance company. New Bloomfield, Missouri. FPPBodyShop.com. 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 Fletcher Performance and Paint.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
Former Mizzou football player in the NFL alert. Now Cody Schrader is on the Broncos. He was a Texan for a week.
Just keep passing him around. Will somebody use this kid? I'm telling you, you will be rewarded.
Yes. Like, come on. I would have loved to see that in Houston, but alas. I was just looking.
Who's Jawar Jordan, by the way?
I don't know, but he went for 100 yards this weekend.
Because I nailed my thought that Schrader was going to have a look because ended up needing the backup, and it didn't end up being Cody Schrader.
Yeah. 50-yard run, got to 100 yards, though. If you take that away, 14 carries for 51 yards. Look at me picking apart his stats so that I can try and get a spot for Cody Schrader.
Yeah,
the Texans running back rotation. Why did Broncos are hogging all the Mizzou running backs now? They got Tyler Beatty. I'm calling him Beatty. I don't believe the other one.
Not Bidet?
No, I don't believe it.
He wants you to call him Bidet. That is one of the weirdest things that's ever happened in Mizzou sports history, by the way.
So weird. He's on the team. Now Cody Schrader is on the Broncos. They better not get Ahmad Hardy. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I think RJ Harvey is banged up, so that's part of the reason.
Yeah.
That they probably wanted some extra depth with Cody Schrader. Somebody just needs to give Cody Schrader 15 carries in a game and see what happens. I'm just saying. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Man. So anyway, we've got that going on. Mizzou, of course, trying to find out who will be entering the portal from their team once it comes on January 2nd. That's when it first opens up. And now, according to the reporting of PowerMizzou.com, it appears that the first player that actually got meaningful snaps this year now has plans to enter the portal. Josh Manning is reportedly going to do that once it opens in January. The other players that we had learned were going to do so were guys like James Madison, didn't play much, Brendan Haygood, Marquise Davis, two running backs down the depth chart. Technically, also, as Cody Goodwin points out in his story, Caleb Flagg had redshirted very early on in the season in September, so he's going to do that. So those are all the players we know about, along with now Josh Manning, who did play a good amount this year, 29 catches, 318 yards, 2 touchdowns. So Mizzou has offensive questions to answer, no doubt. Who's the OC? Who's the quarterback? And now maybe like you're losing Kevin Coleman to graduation. Now you lose Josh Manning. You probably need to at least dip into the portal for at least one guy for that room for next year.
Yeah, I think that's the first move that you do have to replace meaningfully in the portal. And I would be surprised if that's the last receiver to transfer out, just to be totally honest with you. And so you'll need to hit on one or two guys that you think can genuinely contribute out of the wide receiver room in the portal. That's my prediction.
It's now the time will be coming, I'm sure, over this next week or so where we start to learn, okay, who of Mizzou's rotational players will be looking for new places to go. And it's always, a few. But you're always going to learn about the players that leave before you learn about the players that come into your program. And generally speaking, Eli Drinkwitz has been able to replace this talent that has gone out and bring in at times a little bit more than what they had before. So that's always going to be the question. It's just the matter of now, as the room is currently composed, you've got Donovan Olubade, you've got Marquise Johnson, who I believe will be a senior next year.
Is he on this team next year?
I don't know. I mean,
I'd be surprised.
Probably. Like I will never lean one way or the other.
Yeah, Manning going in makes it maybe more likely that he doesn't transfer, I guess.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised if,
because he and Olubade have a similar. I mean, Olubade was targeted a little bit more later on in the season, and he obviously is younger, so they can have a longer plan potentially for him. Johnson, obviously, in his last year, but production probably looked pretty similar from both of those guys, and so like you look for at least one of them, if not both, to step up. But you also look for added production that's proven from the portal that you can plug in right away.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, in a team that's going to be probably pretty run-based again, Olubade is my number one, but you do need some others around him. But the dynamic of wide receivers that haven't really gotten to show out necessarily and be a number one, wanting to do it, and the writing is on the wall for Olubade to kind of step into that role. If he stays, then that would be the reason I would, as another wide receiver, I might say, man, if I don't do it now, I may not ever get my chance. And this isn't like a pass happy offense. I'm not saying it'll always be the right decision for any of these guys that do transfer. I wish them the best, but I think the allure of the unknown, it could be something really great. Like that's how these college players think. Like I could get into a pass heavy offense where I'm the number one or the number two versus I'm battling to be the number two on a run-heavy offense. I think that would be the thought process if you're Josh Manning, seemingly, and it could be the thought process if you're Marquise Johnson, because I do think Olubade has lapped them all in terms of like who I'm looking to for next year.
So we'll see what Mizzou's plan is for the wide receiver room, but now it's pretty clear that they need one as far as adding players to it, and we'll see what happens there. 875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. We'll get to this text Ben's text, first of all. Ben saying, any validity to Chase Daniel moving on from podcasting to be the OC at Mizzou? No, come on. I had to answer this around the office today, too. Like, oh, really? Chase Daniel? No, guys, stop, please. First of all, people still calling him Chase Daniels, and I'm like, who's that?
There's a little bit of that going on.
Like, come on. So there's that, and then I just don't know. It'll be like I threw out Casey Woods' name the other day. Like it needs strong consideration, and like I'm not saying he'll definitely be the guy, but like that needs to be someone that at least Drinkwitz looks at, says, okay, what could it fit? It'll probably be someone that we're not thinking of. So like
probably so. We won't be able to guess the answer, I bet.
Yeah, that's even harder to guess than head coach. No one was able to guess Eli Drinkwitz when he was hired as head coach in December of 2019. So, and that just happened just very, very quickly. So, I mean, we'll be even more in the dark, I'm sure, on something like this when we really just don't know. And this position can be so volatile. And sometimes you just don't know what every head coach's relationship is and how they feel the best and who interviews the best. Like, that's a big thing. Like, the interviews are huge when it comes to this. So, like, what's the plan for how you want to come in and make your tweaks to what we already have in place? So we'll see on that front. Marty's here on the KTGR hotline to talk some Mizzou. Marty, what you got, my friend?
Yeah, this is more for Brendan. He likes to connect the tea leaves as he aptly. Yeah, I knew you'd be up on this. Haven't heard you mention the rumor that Drink's people have already spoken with Michigan about the head coaching position there.
Yeah.
Looks like Drink and Dillingham from Arizona State. I think they've contacted Fish. Of course, they talked to DeBoer. So connect those tea leaves for me, brother, and see what you got.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Marty, here on the Big Show.
I do.
I'll pull up the report. It's from Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports.
Yeah.
And real well, I guess he was kind of relaying it from the AP. They reported Sunday through their sources. The search firm hired by Michigan to help find Sharon Moore's replacement has reached out to representatives for Drinkwitz and Dillingham in recent days, two coaches who have been connected to various other openings this cycle. And like they were saying that like he's considered a target for the Wolverines. Michigan has contacted Drinkwitz's representation, along with Washington's Jed Fish, even Kalen DeBoer, despite his public comments ahead of this weekend's college football playoff. Michigan is, quote, casting a wide net, end quote, given the timing of the opening. The Michigan insiders, Alejandro Zuniga, told CBS Sports this week.
I could see, and like, so I'll say this, that Drink signed an extension does not preclude him from going to Michigan.
Right.
Like, just on the basis of it, the part of his extension that I liked the least was that the buyout didn't really go up. The buyout that it would be paid to Missouri if another team or school poaches Drink, it's still like $4 or $5 million bucks.
Yep.
That's very, very low in the grand scheme. That's disappointing to me, but I think Drink had all the leverage here, and Mizzou was happy to keep him happy. And so as a result of that, you kind of like, you keep the door open that this is going to be a thing, in perpetuity, unfortunately. I don't think that I'm really particularly worried about it, despite what I just said. I just want to be clear that, like, you might say, well, he signed a contract, so we're good. No, that's not what that means. But I do think we're probably good. I think we're probably okay on this one. The casting a wide net, I think they want Kalen DeBoer. That's what I think they want. And the more days that go by that they don't hire a coach, no, for sure, good luck.
Yeah.
But I think that would be the first choice on their list. There were rumblings that the whole Bama of it all was getting to him. Like, if they lose to Oklahoma again, and then that opens up on a little bit of an earlier timeline, Michigan to be able to pounce. Do I think it's possible? Yeah, it could happen. It feels like I bet Drink would be, you mentioned a wide net. I bet Drink would be on their list just like he was on everybody else's list.
Yeah.
But I bet he's not first on their list. And so if you're a Mizzou fan, you're hoping to not have to like deal with this again, that like Dillingham is a liar and doesn't want to stay at Arizona State, his alma mater, or you're hoping that, you know, Alabama loses and maybe but then again, if Alabama opens up, now there's this whole next part of the cycle that if they're hiring a sitting coach, or are they interested in Eli Drinkwitz? I would doubt it. But again, that Drink's name has been everywhere, so
Yeah.
I bet he'd be on that list too.
There's not a whole lot of great candidates out there. So like,
you're having to fend off the poachers. Yeah. So like Michigan is one of those jobs where if they got their sights set on Drink and really wanted him, they probably would get him like in this cycle. Hopefully he's like third or fourth on their list and they don't get to that point. But I think Michigan's a step up from Penn State. That's a concern. Is like I was worried about Penn State, and Michigan's definitely a better job. So
yeah.
I know they've got controversy and turmoil right now. Every coach thinks they're the one to fix it, though. You know what I mean? Like at a brand like Michigan,
eventually you
money,
get the alignment. That's what's like. Let's say they move on from Ward Manuel, they'd be like, "Look, everybody that was involved with all that, they're gone.
Is gone.
Let's get alignment here."
Yeah, I don't think Drink would want to necessarily involve himself with a clown show if that's like what it's going to continue to be.
I agree.
Like Michigan's had some scandals, man, and they just can't get away from it. And so that would be a little concerning is if they say, "Hey, clean slate, we're going to bring in somebody new," and you know, all Drink probably needs is an interview because he's a very captivating personality. So I'm not presently worried about it, but I'm not saying that I won't become worried about it. Stranger things have happened, dude. That would be, and by the way, I do believe in getting Mizzou'd. People say that that's not a thing. I do believe that it's still always lurking beneath the surface
for the longest time, and I understand that. But it was something.
It would be very Mizzou. Like I do believe in it. I know, like Gabe Yarman says he doesn't believe it. I do believe in it, and so it would just be our damn luck to be like, we got our coach, we got to figure it out. We even get an opportunity for him to hire a new OC. Like this is gonna be really fun. There's a lot of unknowns, but like in a fun way right now. It's going to be really interesting. That would be a very Mizzou thing to happen. But no, I am not presently. I appreciate Marty thinking of me because I would be the guy to be like going through the tea leaves of it. I don't see any yet that are to be concerned about, but I can't say it's impossible because coaching carousel is a crazy deal. I'm thinking Dillingham, DeBoer, those are possibilities. I don't think Michigan goes off script though. Like I don't think people are saying, "Oh, let the interim do it, and then you can fire the AD in a year and get in a better coaching cycle." Michigan was not paying Sharon Moore, Eli Drinkwitz money, but I think they're paying their quarterback $5 million. Like Michigan money is not a concern. So if they came in knocking
they're not paying
Eli
a buyout
Drinkwitz,
to Sharon Moore either, fired for cause, so they don't have money to pay an old coach to go away. Yeah.
My belief in their ability to rally NIL would be the biggest concern I would have is like, dude, that's what Drink's been talking about for a while. And wouldn't it just be perfect if you're Drink and people are kind of saying, you know, what's he really done to earn all this, that, and the other? That's not how I feel, but there are people in the industry who say, what's he won to be able to get this kind of cachet? Dude, he would do so much winning at Michigan. I should stop talking. Maybe he's listening. Let's just hope that this doesn't have to be something we're talking about. I'm not presently overly concerned about it. I thought about it a little bit. Am I searching his name in Michigan on Twitter every couple of days just to see what people are saying? Yes, but I'm not too. And look, I'll be honest, because I was genuinely concerned about all of the openings when it was Penn State and Auburn and LSU and Florida. I was of the belief that I thought he was more likely to leave than stay. And then he showed that he's very happy to be in Columbia, Missouri, but needed some assurances, and I think they gave him those things, and so he's ready to go to work. Michigan's one of those like Mount Rushmore jobs, I think, in the sport. Michigan, Ohio State. What else would you put up there, Andy? Is Notre Dame on that list?
Notre Dame's on the list. Alabama's on the list. I mean,
so like that's 4 right there. I know Mount Rushmore only has 4, but like that's kind of
it's a very proud program. Like they've got all you need. To win there.
Best football rivalry. It's either Iron Bowl or that one.
Yeah.
I would say.
I would
all
argue
due
that one.
respect
I would argue
to like Army Navy, but like I'm talking about of the blue blood rivalries. Those are the two. And Michigan and Ohio State are usually ranked every time.
Yes,
that's not really always true of Iron Bowl. So yeah, there's a lot of cachet for a guy trying to put his name on the map and etch into the history of the sport. Hopefully we're like, I don't have the emotional energy to get fired up about it yet. If the rumor mill begins to turn, which it hasn't in a meaningful way, that's when I'll probably start to get concerned. But what will be, will be, I think is almost the stance I have, because I feel like emotionally we were fending off a handful of programs that could have poached him and none of them did. So hopefully we get through the Michigan thing.
Call or text us 875-KTGR. Yeah, what we know from the reporting is that Michigan has reached out to Eli Drinkwitz's representation, but they've also reached out to a lot of different people.
And
so,
he's an easy one to say, to float that publicly, by the way. Because it's one of those where, like, if that was the guy they were trying to hire, why would it get out? I think very much you could be doing some diversionary type of stuff for that to leak. And Drink's name is an easy name to throw in there because his name's been thrown into everything. It's not even really fair to him that this would continue to happen. But like, if you're running the search firm and you're going, we don't want them to really know who our target is because we don't want it to get blown up, and maybe our target is still coaching in the playoff.
Yep, throw a bunch of names out there. Yep,
Drinks would be a name that would be on that list.
So we'll see what happens with that search and whether Eli Drinkwitz is involved with it anymore. If you want to call or text us on that, 573-875-KTGR. We've got a live local sports center, then some talk on the Cardinals and Royals making moves over the weekend. That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's rounded rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Kansas City falls 16-13 yesterday to the Los Angeles Chargers. This means the Chiefs will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2014. More bad news. Patrick Mahomes left the game late in the fourth quarter, and after an MRI, the Chiefs learned that he had suffered a torn ACL. Two Missouri football players earned AP All-American honors. Running back Ahmad Hardy named to the first team, and offensive tackle Keegan Trost named to the third team. The Tigers will take on Virginia in the Gator Bowl later this month, Saturday, December 27th at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Over the weekend, Washington State officially announced that Missouri offensive coordinator Kirby Moore will be named its newest head coach. Moore has just finished his third season coaching the Tigers. Columbia Daily Tribune today reported that Mizzou's starting wide receiver Joshua Manning is planning to enter the portal. Players cannot officially enter their name in the portal until January 2nd. Missouri men's basketball 82-60 winners yesterday over Bethune-Cookman. One more non-conference for the game for the Tigers. That's Illinois in St. Louis on Monday. Missouri women's basketball improves to 10-03 with an 82-66 win over St. Louis. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast with Billiards on Broadway. It's home to fresh hand-patted burgers, fresh cut fries, and a long list of Missouri beers on tap. Don't forget the pool tables, huge TVs. Get to Billiards on Broadway in downtown Columbia.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking a mild night compared to what we've had the last several evenings. We're dropping down into the upper 20s. Tomorrow we'll see more sunshine with highs making it up into the low 50s. Wednesday is a little bit more breezy, but sunny with temperatures in the low 50s. We'll be tracking rain chances moving in between Wednesday night and Thursday.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
One last chance.
Sacked by Missouri, Zion Young and Damon Wilson.
To make our mark.
To the 5, to the house. 63-yard run by Jamal Roberts.
Live from Jacksonville, Florida, it's the Gator Bowl. Join us Saturday, December 27th. The Tigers battle the Virginia Cavaliers. Our coverage begins at 4:30 on your home for Mizzou football.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. If you have ever called them up for service on your trees, you know exactly what type of people they are. They're not going to upcharge you. They're not going to beat around the bush. No, they'll come out, inspect your trees. They'll tell you exactly what needs to be done. And they'll even go above and beyond to make sure that they are safe, even doing things that might not cost you anything in order to ensure their long-term health and safety. So you're not only getting the most trusted tree experts in mid-Missouri, but you're also getting a team that knows how to take care of you at the same time. That's Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions. Call him today about tree pruning so he can take care of that. Go to AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com. There you can also see their full range of services, tree removal. They also do stump grinding, even commercial snow removal. So if you have a business that needs snow removal later on this winter, keep them in mind. Your trees will thank you if you go with Advanced Tree Solutions. Go to AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
Kubota owners, after a busy season of mowing, hauling, and working hard, it's time to give your Kubota a little attention of its own. Schedule your Kubota winter service today, and in Boone County, enjoy free pickup and delivery with their 30-point service plan with Farm Power Lawn and Leisure. Keep your equipment ready to roll when spring comes. Call 573-442-1139 or visit FPLAL.com before March 1st. Farm Power Lawn and Leisure, your Kubota headquarters all year long.
Hey, y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. We've all heard about Santa's naughty and nice list.
And I know where you're at this year.
So at Billiards, we're doing a naughty burger and a nice burger.
Which is which?
Our nice burger is our famous Billiards burger. Top it with whatever you want. The naughty burger is our roomy with lots of spice.
Santa likes making it hot.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
You know, we named Vixen after Mrs. Claus.
Oh, Santa.
Hi, we're Midway Electric. When winter hits, electrical issues can turn serious fast, at home or at your business. That's why you need a trusted local team that shows up, solves the problem, and stands behind the work. From whole home generators and security systems to everyday service and repairs, Midway Electric has you covered. And now through January, get $500 off a whole home generator installation to keep you powered up no matter the weather. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
My name is Josh Arnold, and I've been working at Zimmer Communications for over 5 years. When I first started at Zimmer, I was really impressed at all of the resources that they have available to you to succeed. I started at this job right out of college. I think I learned more here my first 3 to 6 months than I did in all of my time in my schooling at college. Working at Zimmer Communications, you really feel like you're part of a team. You don't feel like you're pitted against one another. It's a really fun atmosphere that allows me to excel in my job.
If you're up for the challenge, apply now at ZimmerCommunications.com.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. One of my first and only auto claims for me personally came when we were on a long road trip, and I was maybe following a semi-truck a little too close, and we all know when those rocks pop up, crack your windshield. First thing I did the next day was call Phyllis. Phyllis handled the whole thing. She got us into, I think, one of the local vendors to replace our windshield, and within 24 hours, it was done, it was over, and made it a very seamless process.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
You can call or text us here on the Big Show. Sound off on Mizzou, the Chiefs, anything you want. Here on the Big Show with Andy and Brendan. Real quick, let's get to Kevin on the KTGR hotline. Kevin, only got about 30 seconds for you. What you got?
I know. Hey, what's up, guys? Brendan, just follow me here. You're going to like where I'm going. One, Chris Jones, not trading him. He's going to have a bunch of injuries next year. I'm going to keep him out of a bunch of games. Patrick Mahomes, we're not doing surgery next week. It's the holiday season. Spend time with your kids. We're going to do surgery later on, right? So then what we do is, listen, next year, Patrick, you can't get back in time, right? We're going to keep you out the whole year. We're going to be the worst team in the league. Now, Brendan, hear me out on this. The offensive line is good because we got Simmons, we got Humphreys, we got Smith, and I actually like old boy at left guard now. We just got to figure out the right tackle. You can do that in free agency, right? I like where we're at there. Defensively, I like what I've seen with Gillette. Karlaftis needs to go in the lab, work on some stuff, but I keep Patrick Mahomes out. We get the worst. We're the worst team in the league. Now what we do is I draft that dude from Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith, because he's going to be coming out 2027. And then I trade McDuffie, get additional draft capital, not for this year's draft, the following year's draft. And if I have to move up, then I get Hardy. I fix the running back. I fix the receiver. I can look at some different stuff with tight end, our O-line straight, and do some defensive stuff in this year's draft. Now,
I mean, that could happen. Appreciate the call, Kevin, here on the Big Show.
Kevin's got to call back tomorrow because I do want to hear more. I like where his head's at. I don't know if I can take a year of Patrick Mahomes' prime and just knock it out.
No, can't do that.
But I am for everything else that he's talking about, because I think there are some defensive holes to plug up in this year's draft, and then next year there's some offensive players that are interesting. For sure.
I think the Jeremiah Smith one I can't get on board with. Like, I don't know. I mean, that would be too much to give up. Like,
you hope that Rice and Worthy can become staples for a while.
Yeah, you hope so.
And it'd be great. But
there is a question on Rice. Rice had kind of a
his mid.
Yeah. And he's,
he's got to make adjustments to what defenses are doing to him.
This is year 3. No, this is year 4 going into. So, like, it's time has flown on him.
Yeah.
So you got to make a decision. So we'll see. But lots of work to be done for the Chiefs this offseason. Okay, Cardinals signed Dustin May. I think you're right. Yeah, you're right on, Brendan. Like this, get a bunch of arms in. See who's the best. And not all of them will be healthy by the time you're ready to start the year. So,
or good. Some will be not good.
Yeah, exactly. So, like,
but right now it would be McGreevy, Liberatore,
Palante.
I would say Leahy is probably 3, actually, in terms of quality and likelihood, because he'll be in the rotation. May would probably be number 4. And then you're talking about Richard, Fitz, Palante right now. And maybe you add one more to that mix. And they got prospects on the way. So I like where they're going right now with pitching.
It is interesting. We'll see what else they do. The Royals made a trade this weekend, too, that I was like kind of waiting to see when we learned all the info about it. Because, like, at first, Jeff Passan tweeted, Royals are acquiring from the Milwaukee Brewers Isaac Collins and Nick Mears. I'm like, okay, all right, there's one tweet. The next tweet obviously should be the return. And then I see that Passan said the Royals are sending Angel Zerpa to the Brewers for in the trade. I'm like, okay, well, that was probably one piece. We'll probably learn what else they gave up. And then I didn't learn anything else. That was the trade.
That's the whole deal.
Like, that's the whole trade? What? I think the Royals made out like bandits on that one. Isaac Collins just finished 4th in the National League and Rookie of the Year voting. Had a 779 OPS last year as an outfielder. You plug him straight in, and he's got a corner nailed down. Now, he's a 27-year-old rookie. He's entering age 28. So, like, you don't know how much it holds up. But, I mean, the fact that you add already to one of your big needs with that trade, Angel Zerpa, apparently the Brewers want to try and stretch him out into a starter again. So
I knew there had to be a reason for that, and they'll probably be right. Be prepared for Zerpa to be a good starter for them, because they know pitching. But the Royals know pitching too. But they needed to move like this. I would say this takes them out of Brendan Donovan, though. I think the Collins they're
kind of still on the Jaron Duran track. Like, they might get him. We'll see. Yeah, I think it does take him out of Brendan.
Royals are going to fix their offense and be fun. That's my prediction for 2026.
I'll be interested in that. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll have the Chiefs Kingdom show coming up next. And be sure to join us at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll ask the injury expert, Will Carroll, about Mahomes' injury. Thanks for joining us. He's Brendan. He's producer Billy. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there